23 for $15 million. Whoa. Opportunity is found in a dilemma. And that's how I got to where I was. So right before my 21st birthday, when everyone's doing what you normally do on your 21st birthday, when you get together with your friends and you're going to go to church, because that's what you do as your 21st birthday. I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I have a huge family history of cancer. In my family, it's not, are you going to get cancer? It's what kind of cancer do you have? I've had it 5 times. It's traveled my body. I lost my mother to pancreatic, and my father has it right now. So it's kind of like our thing, or the cancer club. So opportunity in a dilemma. And I found my emotion and my purpose at 21. Us women, as natural beings, we are emotional. We are reactive. It's what we're made of. Sorry. It's what makes us so powerful, but it's also what gets us in our way, I would have to say. And so the Inspire Institute is an inspiring, influence, and impactful nonprofit organization that I'm creating to have resources for women in power, women in position, and women in place. And in this nonprofit organization, I'm going to give resources out to anyone and all the females that want to make their platform their reality. And so the mission of this nonprofit is going to empower women to inspire, influence, and impact their platform through leadership excellence, personal growth, and community engagement. And the vision is to cultivate a diverse community of empowered women leaders who champion positive change, drive innovation, and create lasting impact in their spheres of influence, fostering a brighter future for generations to come. I'm only going to have you for 25 minutes, and I'm going to tell you what to do with your emotion so that you can then have everything that you do be successful. I am going to get emotional during the whole thing because that's what we do. Emotion is a double-edged sword. You don't have to read the slides, they're kind of more for me, but it is for that. Emotion is a double-edged sword. What ignites our passion and our purpose also is not good for business. We get in our own way. We get reactive and not responsive. And so there's a formula that I do inside my life to keep my emotions in check. Because if you use your emotion properly, it turns into passion, and then it's your purpose, and then it's your platform. And so, in the first one, let's see where women are today. And I want you to see why we are not getting out of our own way. 52% of all women, of all businesses in the United States are owned by women. Women-owned businesses have grown 114% in the last 2 decades, and about half of the startups in the U.S. are founded by women. And 1/3 of businesses worldwide are owned by women. The world, culturally, does not celebrate women, and that we are 1/3 is pretty profound. This is our little bit of our dilemma. Startups with all-women teams only receive 1.9% of venture capital funding. So you go back to the 52% of us all being owners in business. We've had to do it either ourselves or with friends or family or somebody else. But only 1.9% of venture capital is given to women business. Part of that problem is 62% of the businesses of women claim it as their primary income, and the way that they structure themselves in their business doesn't allow them to be for financing. A lot of them are K-1s, not W-2s, 1099s, they don't collect a paycheck, they don't set up their financials. So in that nonprofit organization, we're going to have workshops where What's a P&L? Okay, you're gonna learn what your P&L is. How you're gonna powerhouse through this line item, that line item, how you can make money on your money, and all that other things that, especially in small businesses, struggle with. But this is the impact. There's 12.3 million women-owned businesses in the United States, and we generate $1.9 trillion. So we're making the money. $1.9 trillion is what we generate. And 64 of the new owned businesses are started women of color. And in 2018, over 1,800 women started businesses a day. My favorite is that the last two is that women-led tech companies have a 35% higher return on investment, and we are spanking the boys because female-founded businesses outperformed businesses founded by men by 63%. So that's the So there's three things that you have to remember when you are doing any type of business. Either you're in a position in a company, you own your own business, or you want to grow a business. And the first one is you have to have inspiration. Inspiration is your why. This is why you're doing what you're doing. This is why you feel this is important. This is what you enjoy. This is the raw emotion of the why. My why I didn't know if I had tomorrow. I didn't know if I was going to get married. I didn't know if I was going to have kids. I didn't know if I was going to be able to walk or talk or breathe. And so I knew the power of now, of today, and the love that I had with the people that I had in that day. And so we're all not guaranteed tomorrow, and I know that's all silly and kumbaya, but you're really not. You don't know what's going to hit tomorrow. And so today, the power of now, there's so many great books, but my why was because I just didn't know if I had tomorrow, and I needed to have some fun. There's three pillars in the Inspire. It's lead by example, share your vision, and encourage growth. Lead by example is the hardest one with us women. If you don't want to be talked about, don't talk about women. If you don't want to be jaded, don't jade. If you don't want to be attacked, don't attack. It's lead by example. And that's the hardest part, where we get very reactive and where women cannibalize each other. Instead of taking care of each other and having the communication, we're so quick to go for the jugular and we're not encouraging each other. And so you always lead by example. That's why I love the Women's Food Alliance, because it's a network opportunity for us to get together and encourage each other. I didn't have that in venture capitalist. I was the only female in 20 years. It was just me, myself, and I talking to myself about how great my outfit was. Share your vision. Make sure that who your team is understands your why and what you're trying to do, and really give it to them then to where they have to buy it. Let them understand this is why we're doing it. Let them understand your passion, and then you get the buy-in. And then encourage growth. You want your team, you want to surround yourself with people that give you skill sets that you don't have. I wanted to do Pilates. I went to Savor. I wanted to learn about cooking. I went to a culinary school of women in Italy when I was 22. So always surround yourself with your network of what's going to help you grow, but more importantly, provide your team with ways to grow. It's really important that you do that. The influence is where the emotion turns into passion, And this is where you use tangible methods to then get the why into purpose. And this is the work. This is where the work begins. What are you and how are you structuring yourself in your business or in your workplace or in your passion, what you want to do? And these are the tangibles that you do to structure. And then this is where it turns into passion. So now you're not emotional. It's got a purpose, and you're putting it into action. This is the action phase. And in marketing, if you go to marketing, they say that there's the why, the how, and the what. And then if you answer all those questions, your product's going to be great. Well, in the Inspiring Her Institute, it's the same pillars, but we're inspiring, influencing, impacting, and then the tangibles of how we're going to do that why, that how, and that what. The three pillars of influence is build relationships, communicate effectively, and lead with empathy. It's all about, this is another reason why Women's Food Alliance is so great, because it provides networking. You're building your relationships. You are communicating to these relationships. What are you doing? I had a conversation with Kelly before, talking to her about its supper club, and what is supper club, and how does that help her and me, and more importantly, what are her vision and my vision, and how can the visions come together so that it's a win-win for everybody? And so it's that kind of thing where you effectively communicate. Same thing with tasting tours. When I sat down with Andrea at the beginning when I had Brunch Bar, we talked about what they do and then how ways I can help with them. The VCB with Barbara, how I can help the VCB with their vehicle. It's not mostly about what you can do for me, but what can I do for you? And then us come together and then have this great collaboration, inspiration to get it done. And then everybody wins. No one's hurt. Everybody wins and everybody's protecting each other. And then we're girl power, and then we're going for girl trips and all the other things we always look fabulous. So, the next one is you definitely want to lead with empathy, and that's where understanding your team. I know where every one of my employees want to be in 5 years. I know where they are emotionally. I know that Mallory had a really big exam last night and she was really tired and stressed out about it and she was upset that she couldn't work. I know that Maddie wants to go to law school. I know that Rebecca wants her own bakery. I just know my team and so that if it's a season with me, but we're working together and you invest in them and you know them and you feel for them and you care for them. Especially nowadays, staffing is one of the biggest things. And so you really want to cultivate this culture and this team, an authentic team of understanding and working together. And that is only done through empathy. So the impact is what you get. It becomes your purpose. And that's a lot of words that you can read that I'm not going to sit here and read. That says, impact is a measure of our effectiveness in creating meaningful communication. So this is the what. This is the actions and the contributions and what you give back for your product. Is everybody following how this is going? Okay. So this is where your passion turns into your purpose. And I have the best illustration of what this all means on somebody other than myself at the end. I'm so excited to share. The 3 impact pillars are set clear goals, empower others, and foster collaboration. Now, each one of those pillars seem like they're redundant, but if you really understand they're stepping stones and stepping blocks and they get deeper into the purpose, into the passion on your emotional being, right? You start with the why. You're nervous, all these emotions are going, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. Then you get to the passion, and then those pillars get deeper into more technical, more concrete, and then the same thing. So they're building blocks on each other. So you can't go straight to 3. You have to really, but they play on each other. The biggest thing we have as women is our time management, because we're pulled in a gazillion directions. And we also have hormones, and we also have days, and we also have families and friends and all the things, and we're pulled. But I have tier 1, tier tier 2, tier 3 time. And this is my day, and it's every day. It doesn't matter where I'm at, what I'm doing, or how exhausted I am. I do tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 time. And this is where you put your emotion into check. Because when you have the time management, your emotions cannot get the best of you. It's when you don't have and you're overwhelmed and all the things and too much going on and I have to isolate myself or I can't do this or I can't do that. You can do that in the day. So I'm going to share with you my day at a glimpse very quickly. This is another workshop because this is a whole thing. But the first day I wake up in the morning and it's early. Now if you're a night owl, it doesn't matter, you don't have to wake up early. But when you first wake up, you have to give yourself at least an hour to 2 hours of your time for you to get your day correctly. So my alarm is set at 5. Do not get up at 5. It's just for my body to know that I gotta get a snooze. And then I have another snooze and then another snooze, and then I get up. The first thing that I do, and this is a big contribution for me taking Pilates, is I have my morning devotional time. And this is where it doesn't matter what your faith is or where you are in your journey, but could be an inspirational book, this can be a devotional, this can be meditation. But I start that even before I have my cup of coffee. I go into my little room, I've got a white chair with a plant and my Pilates mat that gets a lot of dust, but it looks great. And then that's where I look at my daily task, and then I do exercise workout. My workout can be a private Pilates class or a walk around my living room in circles in my pajamas. But it is a 15-minute, 20-minute, get your body moving, and you don't have to leave. But lately it's been a lot of the walk in the pajamas around the room because my task list is so concentrated for the day. To take the field trip to Pilates and back is not in my time. I don't have the time to get there and the time to get back. But Stephanie has trained me that I have to do this exercise and I have to do this every morning. And so it is a part of my routine. And then I'll have my coffee and then a nutritious breakfast. For me, it's just a power bar. I'm not big into a huge breakfast. And then I prioritize the day. The next slide is what I do. And so I have these little angel cards. So today's mantra that I pulled for today was compassion. And then my reminders are my major things, and then my agendas. And I do my 25-minute block, which I'm going to talk to you in a second, and then my to-dos that are major priorities for the day. And then the tier 2 time is the focused word block. And then this is when I do this 25-minute blocks. Next slide. I have 25 blocks. This is what women need to do. You have a task, 25 minutes, turn your phone off. Your brain only remembers 22 minutes of a task. So after 22 minutes of me talking, it might be a little bit earlier, your brain's gonna go soft. So your task can only be 25 minutes. But if you have to do like a report, a finance report, or a report or a financial, break it up in 25-minute blocks, take 5-minute breaks, walk around. After 4 blocks, you have to take a half an hour break. It's brain chemistry one-on-one. Us women, we like to think that we can work all day on one task. After 22 minutes, no way. Next slide. So this is just talking about the block. So in my original day, if I've got to build my website, and I just built 10 of them myself, then I did 25-minute blocks on each one. So this is just where to keep the emotion in check of what you're trying to do. The toolkit. You see the little plants on your table? Yes. Okay. Us women, we are venters. We love to vent. Only vents to the plants. Do not call your best friend. Certainly do not tell your partner. Do not tell your child. Do not call anyone. Vent to your plants. Journal. Journaling it's brain chemistry. We're in a tech world where we do left, right. You are overstimulating the front part of your brain. Handwriting is the only exercise that actually ties the front to the left, the top to the bottom of your brain. So if you start getting on your phone and texting and venting while you're texting, and you don't know why you don't feel better, well, you just overstimulated your brain. So, journal, take a time out. I love timeouts. I have 4 kids. I put myself into timeout all the time. And then find your sanctuary. Find the space and the place where your emotion can just let loose and you don't, it's uncharted. I love to hike. I love to go for walks. I love the ocean. My daughter loves to read. So whatever your sanctuary is, this is your things. This is what we don't do. We don't react impulsively, engage in confrontational communications, make decisions based solely on emotions, escalate conflicts, ignore the perspective of others, take things personally. Take things personally. Take things personally. Gossip or vent publicly. Who are we venting to?
The plants.
The plants. My plant's name is Betty, and she looks fabulous because she gets a lot of venting. So, definitely not passive aggressive on social media posts. You're going to hurt your business and you're going to hurt yourself, and we are notorious as women to do that. Use emotional manipulation, neglect self-care, and never burn a bridge. If you just can't get along, disappear. Just disappear. Because you're emotional, they're emotional, but you don't know what tomorrow has. Don't burn the bridge. As much as it's you just want to light that bridge on fire, just don't burn the bridge. And time will heal. Time will heal that confrontation or that disconnection or whatever it is. But what you do, and the long game strategies, is always be self-aware. Is this me? Don't take it personally. Where am I in my emotion? So I would sit at the table and we would be doing a $100 million deal. That's a lot of pressure, just doing a $100 million deal. I'm the only female. And so I had to make sure what I wore showed power and message and how I spoke and what I did and the room. And it's always being self-aware of myself where I was emotionally. I'm a mother of 4. I have a 24-year-old, a 22-year-old, and the twins are 21. And so that's a whole lot of emotion and engaging their emotion. And so just always make sure you're self-aware, pause and breathe. Take those deep breaths and walk out in your time out in sanctuary. Empathy is the biggest way to get your emotion into check. What is going on with them? And once you understand, man, their dad's dying, or they're financially strained, or and you don't need to know their stuff because they're venting to their plants. But you might hear them say, because we do talk on how our lives are going, always try to see their perspective. Doesn't mean that you're wrong or they're right or whatnot, but always look at their perspective. And bad assumptions and false narratives. So, I moved this plant. My husband will say, you know, she moved that plant and I thought it looked really great over there. And then my daughter will be like, I hate that plant. And then Emily will say, oh, why didn't we do the blue plant? And that's all false narratives. The only thing that happened was I moved a plant to the left. But we create this whole narrative of what happened to the plant. Let's just move it to the left. So and bad assumptions. That is the worst thing that we do all the time. Oh, well, because of this and because of that. If you have the empathy and the clear communication, you can have the conversation and just say, are you okay? You know, don't make that bad assumption. Coping mechanism. Mine happens to be an old-fashioned, just kidding. Develop coping mechanism means that when you are really in a fight and flight, because as women business owners, that's where we go. What do we do for the healthiness of whatever we're struggling with? I cannot make my father better. I cannot make his situation better. How am I going to cope with this as we're transitioning him to the next level? What do those coping mechanisms look like? We have a whole workshop on that. Seek feedback, manage conflicts effectively, communicate assertively, and be resilient. Okay, at the end of the day, This is the review and reflect. This is where I network. There's a time where I'll call and I'll work on something, building, go to dinner with somebody. I will spend time with my family. I will look at the end of my day, what worked, what didn't, what's going to the next day. This is the time where you just unpack your day, but this is where you have to unwind. You have to connect with somebody. So going down to the 2, the 3, the pillars, pillar 2 will come into time. This is where I'll call somebody, hey, let's just set up this event. Judith and I will talk about supper club, something like that. But then your time. Your time is at the end of your night before you're gonna go to bed. And I have a whole routine. I turn off all my overhead lights. I do low lighting. I don't Facebook. I put my phone away. We'll watch the movie, but then I won't fall asleep to the movie. And then this is where it just is quiet time. 70's here, my body's here. There's an exercise that she says for circulation where you put your feet up against the wall on your bed straight up, and you do it for 8 minutes, and that has changed my life because your whole circulation and the calmness of your entire being just goes away. So, put your legs in here, you just don't care. And then, at the end, your product is your impact. And I know every lady here, I was reading about what everybody does. I looked at your bio for what you've done here. And every single one of you have an impact. You are doing something, you have a product, you have a purpose, you're doing something amazing for this community. And so what we need to do is continue to come together and get our emotion into check, turn it into passion, turn it into purpose, support each other, bend to our plans so we can talk about how great we are, and then encourage each other. Our emotional ladder, this is what the emotion of each of us are in our decades, just so you know. In 20s, exploration, and so that's when, why I've been able to accomplish what I've done is because in my 20s, I didn't have exploration. I didn't know how much I was going to be able to explore. And so I'm a fast track. But in the 20s, we're exploring. In the 30s, we're trying to establish. In the 40s, we're very empowered. That's where we get into a lot of trouble as females because our egos go into the night. And then we rule the world when we're 40. And then when we're 50, there's a fulfillment. What's serving me, what's not serving me. You start to question all the things on what's working for me. I'm doing things that matter. I'm not going to spend my time doing that. And then by your 60s is wisdom. And that's when you're like, you catch yourself saying, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that anymore. I'm not going to be doing that anymore. And it's just because you're coming into wisdom as you're understanding everything that you've gone through, and you're just getting smarter and not harder. And then 70s and plus is really your platform. That's really where it matters. So yeah, what you accomplish in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s and your 50s and your 60s are great. But once we hit 70, that's your true platform. And women are in their prime, in their 70s. And a lot of us don't get that. So we think, oh, we're too old for that, or oh my God, or this. Now listen, our backs and our body not may be able to survive, but it is. But really, 70s, 80s, and 90s are really where you look at your reflection, your discovery, and your celebration. So this is the end of what we do for the institute. And we can skip, you guys can get that slide in a different thing. It's so good. So your takeaway right now is you need to, I brought you all a journal. In the little bag, there's a little bag with some little stickers in there and lip balm, just for you to get your lips all ready to talk to your plants. You have to understand what your homework is, and then when we have our nonprofit party, and Lee's there, we're going to do it at Kelly's Farm, I think. Just look at what your why is, your how, your what, and workshop to your purpose. And then use that model, the 25-minute block for tasks. It will change your life. And the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 time. And just really start looking at your day. And once you really start to construct your day, a lot of people say, oh my gosh, there's so much going on. There's so much going on. My staff can tell you that they'll come up to me and they'll say, Melissa, we need this, and I'll say, give me 10 minutes, give me 15 minutes. It's because I'm in the middle of a 25-minute task. And so it's a matter of setting those boundaries. And I'm not pushing them off till, oh, see you tomorrow, or no, give me 10 minutes, give me 15, wherever I'm in my 25-minute block. And then I go revisit. But just giving yourself those 25-minute task blocks, you will see how effective you become, how productive you are, and when you get frustrated, you just take your plant with you, and I'm serious about the plant. But then, look at what's your tangible and set your goals. We have workshops for P&L, we have podcasts coming up. I have a big announcement of what we're doing at 33 King. So the girls, are doing the brunch bar, and that's expanding. But it's a huge space. And what we're going to be focusing on is in the back part of the space. We have recording studios coming, and those are going to be podcast and rentable for anyone that wants to use them. So if you want to do it, if you have a meeting, a virtual meeting, or whatnot, but we're going to start generating a lot of the TED Talks around locally, what's working, trends, and everything like that. And so it's just an outreach program that we're going to be doing in the Institute. And I'm going to tell you why, and the one thing, so we all are here because of one fascinating lady. And I've asked her for her permission. She says, no, it's your platform, but here we go. So I was 21 and I had cancer, but not all of you are going to have that inspiration, right? But Lee was very tenacious, and she did in New York and the events, and she talks about that and how she worked with females to get it done while she was going against all odds. And she was very successful in the acting and the theater and whatnot. And so she did really well. But then she lost something. She lost her son. This is where I'm going to get emotional. I cannot imagine losing my son. He's my son. He's my son. And so here's this opportunity of this dilemma where you just want to give up. And we are all there. There are moments and days that we are all there. You just want to give up. It's too much. I can't take it. So this woman, in the heart of that, had a purpose, had a passion, had a why. So something emotional, devastating, she turned into a passion, and she turned into a purpose. The Women's Food Alliance, she tells you all the time, is the story about her and her son loved food. They love to go to restaurants, they love to do anything. And so the purpose of the Women's Food Alliance is she had the why of when she was in the events and all the problems that she had and the networking. She turned it into a passion. She was hit hard with something that's devastating where we all want to give up. Now she's turned it into this fantastic purpose where we have a network where we can encourage each other, help each other, rely on each other. We're doing that. Are you doing that? What are you going to do to inspire her and yourself for your platform? You all have all the steps to show everybody, every female, no matter where you come from, you have the opportunity to make the impact. What's your why? And what are you going to do to inspire her to make it your platform? And whatever you need, I'm here for you.
To having worked with you on this event, and I love because she's very detail-oriented, because I'm very detail-oriented too. And I love how you put everything out and allowed me to be able to make sure that all the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed, because my boss over here also is very detail-oriented. I want to present you with this token.
Thank you, and I will have lots.
And then I have something real special for Melissa. Melissa doesn't know why her husband disappeared this morning, but I do. I need somebody, I don't have my glasses, but I want somebody to read this bottle that we're presenting. I don't know if you've heard about Makers of Art. It's, it's National Women's Month. And this bottle is dedicated to Melissa. It has her name here.
Coping mechanism,
I think it goes to all the women here. And I'm going to give the link to Lee, so if anybody wants to order, then check it. Right here.
So it's dedicated to Melissa.
Yeah. And what else? It says something about the women.
Your voice is one that means everything and to those around you. We know because this label was made specifically with you in mind to honor all you do to better the world, big and small. In recognition of your impact and the actions of many spirited women like you, we are donating to Vital Voices, investing in all women making a difference in their communities.
So all I can say is, Melissa Schroeder, thank you for sharing inspiration, thank you for sharing emotions, which we all do. But I wanted to take a moment and say I have a gift for all of our, if Cindy Stavely and Erin Kelly could come up, because without them on our leadership, we just couldn't move forward with things that we have to do. And when you call Erin and you call Cindy, they get on the phone or they get on their email or whatever, and it could be the middle of the night and they go yes, and they don't even know what I've asked for. That's the kind of friendship that we love in the Women's Food Alliance. We always say yes to each other, we care, we're there, we support, and thank you. But today I gave them their little WFA. Actually, it all evolved because I saw all of the Swifties wearing the bracelets. There were girlfriend names everywhere. I don't know who your friends are, but I can't give you a bracelet for all of your girlfriends, but at least we start. So when you leave later, I have a little Women's Food Alliance bracelet, a WFA. You can wear it, you can share it, and I hope that you enjoy it. That's the fellowship. And we have to come up with a new word for fellowship, girlship, whatever it is. It's right here in the line. And thank you all for being here. Melissa, life is emotions, life is hard work, life is dedication. The Women's Food Alliance, we all know what it is because we've read the mission statement since day number 1. Becky Lowry. Becky was on our original 8 women invitation to say, hey, what do you think about an organization for women in hospitality 11 years ago? God bless you.
I know.
Women to 170 plus women here and in the coast of Georgia, all the way up to Savannah. We have events coming up all year, a retreat in October. And actually, if any of you saw the seating plan today on the other side of the poster, I really didn't want to spend another $1.25 on the poster, but on the other side, it has the information about Jekyll Island, October 9 to 11 at our retreat. But thank you all so much for inspiring others. So nice meeting. God bless you all. Enjoy the sunshine.
Nice to meet you. Nice to